Hello and welcome! Silrace here with Build Showcase. Build on your screen right there. Pause the video if you wish to copy the exact main components, also listed in the description below. Battlemaster. This is the Hellslinger, the hero variant of Battlemaster. Note, at the time of recording I have finished the elite pilot skills on the Hellslinger. So if you don't yet have your basics and elites done, then you will see less performance out of the same build. Also note that no modules were in use, so if you have the modules you will obviously get the performance increase from those modules. Now, Hellslinger is an interesting mech. It does have a minor velocity increase for PPCs, which is why I smacked 4 PPCs on the Hellslinger variant of Battlemaster and just called it a build. For actual regular PPCs instead of ER PPCs, simply because for ER PPCs runs way hotter than for regular PPCs. You just have to be aware that the PPC has 90-meter minimum range, so never ever shoot at things which are within 90 meters of you. Or you can try to alleviate that by, you know, swapping 2 of those PPCs for ER PPCs and just calling it a day. That could very much work as well. Now, this is Canyon Network and this is Conquest game mode. Not exactly the game mode. This particular mech and build is the most adept at, which is one reason why I want to also show off this kind of gameplay. For, you know, you don't always get the one thing you really want to play. Sometimes you have to play other things, and that's where your build is tested. And, well, hello. I am willing to shoot at you things, because you're all around there. And, hello. That is a big mech. Let's shoot at it some more from the side like this. I am having some nice free flank shots here, but nobody shooting back at me. Because, you know, they are focused on shooting at things which are down there and so forth. So I get to shoot things in the side, and that is always nice. And exactly the kind of stuff you want to do with this thing. Of course, this mech overheats fairly quickly. And so forth, and I didn't realize the thing actually was alive still. My bad. But hey, I can put some PPC fire into it once I realize that, oh, actually it's not dead. And that ECM mech would be very nice to kill. And there is one shot into its legs. And there is now something behind me, so I have to be careful with that. Of course, pushing in on it is a little bit of a scary prospect, because it gets within that 90-meter you know, minimum range of the PPCs. So I have to put a little bit of distance between myself and it. But there is a kill steal, a very nice kill steal there. Of course, it's called kill securing, and the main thing is that somebody killed it, so there's less guns shooting at the friendlies around, right? But if you look at my positioning, this is the sort of stuff you want with this mech. Granted, I am right here in the open right now, but I am not the primary target, and I have an overwatch, essentially. As you can see, I'm trying to maintain an overwatch for the rest of my team. That's a big mech, let's shoot at it. Of course it's shooting back at me because I am a big mech, and I actually eat an overheat here, which is not very good, especially since I eat the overheat while facing it, but it had a lot of people shooting at it, so it's basically dead. Right, so I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to focus on things which are still around, like there we go. Try to maintain that overwatch, as in, when somebody pokes out, you want to be able to shoot at. Now, of course, this direwolf is here, and might be able to shoot down on it, like that. Can put more damage into it, and well, there we go. One dead direwolf. Hello, so would you like some PPCs in your general direction? This build does overheat fairly quickly, fairly rapidly, so something to keep in mind. And there is an ECM mech. If you manage to hit ECM mech with PPCs, they obviously lose the ECM benefit for a short bit. Something to keep in mind. Now there is a lot of things, well, very much all over shooting at me. Hey, this build has all of its weapons in the torsos, so the arms are entire shields. Something to keep in mind, something to try and eat all the incoming fire into those shield arms, of course. You know, try to do that. It's kind of important. It really increases the survivability of this build. Of course, the torso-mounted PPCs have their issues, such as trying to shoot down a UAV, for example, or something which is very high above you. Really difficult to do that.
Target acquired.
But that's the drawback. And there we go, there is something back there, and I lose my first PPC here. And as you can see, this thing does tank for quite a bit, and finally dead. Moving on from Canyon Network to the Mining Collective. On a completely different game mode as well, so something else off, and so forth. Now, I do get fairly high damage numbers on average. I try to show the average games after all for this particular build showcase videos. Not my best games, not my worst games, the sort of average which displays the strengths and weaknesses of this build. Main weakness of this build is obviously anything which gets really close to you. Because, you know, 4 PPCs, 90-meter minimum range on all of them, and fast light mechs because you simply don't have arm-equipped weapons. Here I'm doing that Overwatch thing again, as you can tell. Once you get into the groove of doing that Overwatch playstyle, you can do the whole peek and bow and whatnot. I personally prefer open ground and Overwatch for friendlies who want to go in first, and so forth. That's what I prefer to do with this build. But, like I mentioned, you can do the peekaboo thing. But once you get used to one of those playstyles, you can post fairly high damage numbers on average. Because you aren't really leading the charge. If you are leading the charge, you need to have a very good reason to do that with this thing. And that's another little weakness there for this build. Because the PPC projectile is so large, sometimes you will hit terrain when you are trying to shoot past the terrain. The Hellslinger walked right into my fire there. I didn't have trigger discipline, though. I did not shoot him in the back. Another thing you will have to take note of, because occasionally you cannot stop that from happening. Because of the velocity, the speed of the PPC, sometimes things will, you know, hit friendlies. You just fire and something walks right into that shot. Nothing you can do about that except, you know, apologize and hope that nobody else does that, and have a good trigger discipline. You should have a good trigger discipline anyways to not shoot at friendlies, but, well, it helps with when it's double PPC, because people tend to have really low rear armors these days. And I'm happy that somebody was shooting at me, because as you can see, I'm kind of in the middle of the pack, in, you know, behind the team and so forth. If somebody's shooting at me, I'm actually sharing armor with friendlies, which doesn't always happen when you are playing this build. Many times you can be the last one alive, you can try to be, you know, the last one alive. It isn't even that difficult to actually be the last one alive in most mechs. The difficult aspect is actually being last one alive while having contributed meaningfully to the, you know, actual survivability of your team, which is to say that, you know, sharing armor. Hello. Let's pour some PPC fire into everybody, eat a little bit of firepower. Hello. And there is the PPC kill, and somebody is shooting me in the rear. That is probably a friendly because of my positioning, so let's move. Nope, it's not a friendly. Somebody down there with an ECM, and it's a Kit Fox with an ECM. It's probably, yep, it's the Kit Fox which shot at me earlier. And now there is an assault mech in our flank. There is the Kodiak who, well, sped its way over there. Let's go help out on that Kodiak, and let's actually fire at that thing first. Try to scare it away like that. because 2 PPCs hitting you at once is kind of scary, and most smaller things, if you manage to hit them, tend to run away instantly. One thing to keep an eye out, you know, when you can pour a couple shots into something smaller, they tend to run away because you are running around with big guns, and well, this is awkward positioning to have. Like, don't shoot at that Timberwolf, because he was within the minimum firing range of this particular gun. So I ignored it and shot somebody else who wasn't in that, you know. And hello, you are just outside the minimum range, so I'm going to shoot you. And then it's running away again. Hello, there's the Timberwolf, and it's within the minimum range now. I'm going to wait until it's not, and I don't know why it walked just, you know, past me right there. I have no idea. It's like, why would you ignore me? I have 4 PPCs. It's like, what? Why would he do that? I have no idea. Anyway, maybe he just wanted to find somebody who is easier to kill, possibly. But yeah, as you can tell, this game is pretty much done. There is this ferret running around, and at this point I am obviously going to shoot at it, no matter the range it is at. And we pretty much have this game, so thank you very much for watching. But as I mentioned, average results on this game build is fairly high once you get used to it.